Hey, are you ready to glow like the queen you are? Then it's time to book with Sunshine's Aesthetics by Michaela Graves, where smooth skin, flawless brows, and customized facials are just the beginning. From full body waxing to lash and brow laminations, Michaela's got the magic touch to keep you looking snatched and stress free. Self care isn't selfish, y'all, it's essential. Call her today or even text 336 529 1666. That's 336 529 1666 and let your skin thank you later.
Welcome to Back Porch Confessions, where the sweet tea is strong, the stories are stronger, and no topic is too taboo for the porch. Grab a seat, kick off your shoes, and let's get into the kind of conversations your mama warned you about, but you listen anyway. Hey, welcome to Back Porch Confessions. This is episode 11. I am here with me, myself, and I again. I think that Miss Joyner might be coming in for an episode here soon. I am excited to have her come back, as well as Miss Bailey. Both of my angels are going to try to be here sometime soon to do some recordings with me. Trying to get this thing to wake up for me. Okay, so today we're going to go on a little deeper dive with the generational trauma and how it affects us. Let me find back my notes. Okay, so it's been kind of a day for me. I hope you guys are having a great Monday. For me, it's Monday, the 11th of August. So this should come out on Wednesday, the 13th. So there's a lot of truth when it comes to generational trauma and women's health and how it affects us. In this episode, we're going to have a little bit of sass, a little bit of science, and a whole lot of, we're just not going to do this anymore. We're just not going to do it anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I want my girls to not do this anymore. I want their girls to not do this anymore. And I want a healthier world, to be honest with you. So, I'm having to figure out, I'm trying to get used to this new closet deal, y'all. And currently, it's just, oh well. I'll get it situated later when I'm editing, I reckon. So, I think that'll help me better. Anyway, just always trying to get the lighting. Don't ever do this on your own, you guys. It's been a struggle. I'm on the struggle bus most days trying to figure it all out. But anyway, the family baggage that you didn't ask for. I didn't ask for it. My mama didn't ask for it. Her mama didn't ask for it, but it's what we call generational trauma, and it's what we pass along to our family members, especially the women. You didn't get grandma's blue eyes. You didn't just get Aunt Betty's biscuit recipe. You might have inherited their unprocessed drama. And what I mean by that is your body keeps receipts for the drama that they carried, the trauma that was in their life, the things that they dealt with and pushed down and never healed from, didn't know they were supposed to heal from it. So guess what? Your body, like I said, keeps receipts of that. And tired for no reason thing is generally because of traumas that you've had in your life. Yes, it can also be about perimenopause or menopause. It can be about your iron being low. It can be about not having enough B12. It could be a different number of autoimmunes, which all lead back to generational trauma and how it affects us in our lives. So when I'm saying tired for no reason, it's because we've been handed this crap bag of things that we've had to deal with, that we didn't ask to deal with, that are wreaking havoc now on our bodies. I'm like I say, and I keep saying, I am a walking encyclopedia, dictionary, however you want to look at it, science project that is living proof that the world that we lived in and that we were raised in and that we were handed that crap pie is the world that created the mess that we are currently in, because we didn't know to heal. And I want to stop that. I want my children, your children, our grandchildren to heal. I want healing. Why do women get the short end of the stick? It's kind of strange and a little bit of a phenomenon that women are the ones who bear the burden of the traumas way more than men do. Men are even treated more so in a manner of needing to stuff things down and not having any kind of emotions. It's not okay to cry, those kinds of things. And that's a whole nother subject that we'll get into at some point. I might even get my husband on here to talk about that. I'm not sure if I'll get him to, but I'll try. Maybe my brother will do it with me. But men pass their trauma on, sure, but women, we marinate it. And we marinate in it. And between our estrogens, little immune systems games, and society's be a nice girl, and I've got all my notes here I'm trying to read too. No nonsense. Our stress gets bottled up. Kind of like a bottle of moonshine that's just been fermenting forever. Except for us, it burns from the inside out. Well, I guess a lot like moonshine. You take a drink and you feel that burn. That's kind of what we do when we take our traumas and we push them down and we avoid the stresses in lives and the admissions that there is maybe something not right, and it's in that we're not okay. Again, I'm really going to see if Jelly will let me do it, but the song I'm Not Okay, I mean, I love that song. I will be in the car and I will belt it out. Girls, let me tell you, I love that song. It resonates with me, and I'm sure it does a million people in this world. But that having to be forced to be a nice girl and not have a voice and not talk and not come to the parents or grandparents or teachers or anybody with things that are going on, that we're supposed to be quiet and hold things in, and not talk about our dirty laundry. We're not supposed to take it out and hang it up. That was my second husband's favorite thing in the world to say. Drove me crazy. And I'm sure now he thinks I'm batshit crazy for doing this. But here I am. You don't have to watch. I really don't care. I'm going to put a voice to all of this. You don't have to like it. But when your body starts talking back, like mine has done since COVID, and I know I keep saying this, but before COVID, I really kind of felt decent. I mean, I had some bad times and I had some moments and I couldn't figure out why I was gaining weight and losing weight and what in the world was going on with me. And the doctors couldn't tell me anything because, you know, they're just general practitioners. They don't have really a clue about in-depth situations. So a lot of my things got overlooked that shouldn't have been overlooked for years. The plot twist that your body has in betraying you, between the migraines, the IBS flare-ups, the skin breakouts. Like, I will all of a sudden just have acne on my face. I'm almost 53. What? Why? I mean, I take care of my skin. I will admit, I am the girl that sometimes will go to bed with a dirty face. Shame on me, but that doesn't generally cause me to have breakouts. So, I mean, so far I've been able to figure out I can attribute it to stress, hormones being out of whack, and eating too much chocolate. Crazy enough. Too much chocolate will make my face break out. Which really stinks because I love chocolate. especially good chocolate. Now I'm kind of picky about my chocolate. I don't eat just any chocolate. But anyway, that's with those things, that's basically your body yelling out at you, going, hey, stop shoving those feelings down. Let's not put them up in the attic and forget about them, because that's not going to happen. We're not going to forget about them. They're not meant to be left there with next year's Christmas decorations to bring them out when all that comes out, because we need to deal with them now. We need to learn to deal with them now. We need to learn to cross those bridges in a now kind of time frame, and not so much stuffing it away like we were taught to do so, and like our parents were taught to do so. We were taught to just not have feelings in a big way. It's okay to love and give hugs and that kind of thing. Some families not. But in the general aspect of things, we were taught to love, but in a minimal way. We weren't taught to love in a big way. We weren't taught to love in a way that people around you feel healed. People around you feel safe. I mean, most people felt safe around their parents. I didn't necessarily always feel safe around mine, but for the most part, you feel safe around your parents. Not everybody does, but most people do. That being said, before I go off on a whole nother tangent, we don't know that we don't feel safe sometimes. Like, you're in the moments, but what you've seen them do was bury the feelings and bury anything and hide abuse and hide SA and DV. And if you don't know what those things are, look them up. I don't want to get taken off for saying words I'm not supposed to say. We were taught by our families to bear that weight because they bore that weight, and we're not to speak on it. Like, I didn't even know, and I'm sure I've said this before, I didn't even know that I was being molested, touched inappropriately. I didn't know what it was called until they came to the school, and then I ended up in foster care for the first time, only to go back to my mom and beg her to not find another man to be with, and to be with me and get to know me, and let's have a relationship. I so desperately wanted to have a relationship with my mom at that age, and I just didn't. We just couldn't connect. We just couldn't connect. And I'm sorry, I just rolled my screen all the way to the top. We couldn't connect. And that's a pain that I feel. It's a trauma. Like, that, literally just saying that out loud just made my heart hurt. And I know that pain. I know the pain of a parent who is disconnected from you and kind of resents you and blames you for the things that have gone on in their life. Looks at you and sees your father who abused her. I know what that feels like, to be the receiving end of someone's judgment that you didn't deserve to have. Someone's pain that they put on you because they didn't deal with it in their own way. She never dealt with the things that happened to her other than to keep running and keep moving. She's not doing that now. She's getting settled in life, and she doesn't have to have a person. I mean, I would go from one person to another when I was younger because I didn't know I didn't have to have somebody with me, because that's what I saw. That's what I saw growing up. That's what I saw her do, was go from one to another. So in all that pain between us, I ended up with a lot of trauma. I ended up with a lot of hurt. I ended up with a lot of abandonment issues. I ended up with a lot of the whole issue of where I said before, a feeling like there was something wrong with me. Feeling like I was responsible for what my dad did to her. She put that responsibility on me. She didn't mean to, because her feelings and her way of dealing with things was misplaced, and she didn't know how to. I have enough education now to come with a peace when I speak about these things. I don't mean any harm to my mom. It's just the truth of what happened, and why I am where I'm at. But it has made me the strong person that I am, so I can be here for other people. My path is here for other people. My testimony is going to help somebody. It's either going to help a mom to not be the kind of person my mom was, or even a dad. It's also going to help people who were in my position to learn a level of forgiveness for that person, so they can have peace in themselves. Finding my peace in all of this has been monumental in my healing and recovery process. I am still doing it. I will probably be healing and discovering till the day I put my feet in the ground. I don't know. I might be just, I don't know that I want to be put in the ground. I want a whole, yeah, that's a whole nother subject. I'm going to go off on there, but I would rather be cremated. That way my children can all have a piece of me. There's that, and I'm going to let it go from there. Some of my children don't want that, and some of them do. So, we'll see what happens. But it's my request. That's what I want. When your body starts talking back, it's going to let you know in a big way. And it's going to hit you like a ton of bricks, like it did with me. I was just all of a sudden brought to my knees, and getting back up from that has been so difficult. And our medical system is awful. We spend so much time believing our doctors when they're just guided by the pharmaceutical companies and limited information that they're given from the government, and the protocols that they have to follow. Getting quality care in the United States is one of the most difficult things to do. I have a few great people. My hormone replacement therapy doc, as I mentioned before, is amazing. I love him. My nurse practitioner, who's basically my general practitioner, Miss Beal, she's amazing. I love the Novant system. I worked for Cone. I am not a fan of Cone. I had a terrible experience working there, as well as an ER visit there when I had COVID. That was very shocking, to say the least. But one of the personality traits that people who have been abandoned and been through generational trauma and stresses that have been handed down to them from their family members is being a people pleaser. Wanting to keep the peace. Only to feel like you're a part of something, or to feel like you fit somewhere, and that you're accepted, and that you're loved, and that there's not something wrong with you. So you allow people to walk all over you. You allow people to do and say things against you, to you, towards you, to others. In general, just sly, snotty comments off the side that's supposed to be sweet Southern, but is actually really a snake in the grass. I know several people like that. So we allow those type of people to have control of us, because we want so badly to be someone. We want so badly to be loved, that we allow that kind of thing to happen to us. Don't do it. Stop doing it. It's stressful. It's traumatic. We learn how to treat people by the way they let us do things toward them. So we teach people how to treat us, basically. So when I allow a people pleaser to say catty, sideways things that is said with the sweetest little southern voice you can get, but actually is a slap in the face, yeah, I'm coming for you now. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I would have just taken it personally. I would have wondered what was wrong with me, and heart would have bled over the snottiness that they just spewed. But now, in my healing, oh no, baby, I'm coming for you. You're not going to talk to me that way no more, and you ain't going to talk about me that way no more. If I hear it, we're going to deal with it, and you ain't going to do it. I don't care how high of a D you are in the personality type thing. I'm going to bring you back down. Because ain't nobody going to do that to me no more. You got to find that strength. You got to find that strength within you. When you do your healing, you'll find it. But somewhere along the line, we're told that being the strong one, that you're strong when you allow people to do that, and you turn the other cheek, and you allow people to spew blasphemy and BS, and then we carry that like it's some badge of honor that we allowed them to walk all over us. Oh, hell no. No more of that. No, we're not doing that no more. You're not allowing somebody to walk all over you anymore and get away with it. You're not wearing that badge of honor. Wear the badge of honor that tells them, no, sir, no, ma'am, you don't get to do that to me no more. And if you don't like it, you could see your way out of this family, this relationship, or whatever it is, work, whoever it is that's treating you like that. You don't need them. Remove them. Get rid of it. So in that being said, and I know I'm obviously very passionate about this because it's happened to me my entire life, and I'm tired of it. I am not going to be the strong one anymore, and you are not going to talk to me that way anymore. It's a straight shot to burnout, hormone havoc that women have, our autoimmune messes. When we are that strong person, we're literally killing ourselves. We're allowing them to kill us. I was told by my doctor when I was married to my second husband that if I didn't do something to fix the stress in my life, I was going to kill myself. That the stress was literally killing me. My blood pressure was through the roof. I couldn't get any sense of control in my life. I made decisions down the road. My blood pressure went down. Now sometimes it's too low. I'm ultra chill. I'm just kidding. That had something to do with something else. But anyway, yeah. The blood pressure regulated itself. The stress was a whole lot less. I mean, I still had stresses. We all have stress in life. I'm not saying you can't run around the life with no stress at all. That's not true. That's not true at all. However, we can control it. We can control the stress that we allow to be in our life. So in order to protect ourselves from the hormone havoc, the immune issues, the burnout, the I'm too tired to even function, mama, we have to protect ourselves from those things and those types of people. If you're always holding your family together, one of my children does this, who's holding you together? Like literally, who's holding you together? I believe there's enough to be said on that. Because there isn't anybody holding you together. Unless you find a tribe, unless you find your people, unless you find a person that you can talk to. But even still, if you're the one that's holding the world together, most of those friends are going to be ones that walk all over you. They're the ones that's going to do things that hurt you, and your feelings are so hurt, you feel wounded and abandoned all over again, and you don't know how to deal with that emotion. You have to be there for you. self-love, self-care, self-awareness. You have to be there for you, and you have to not allow people to make you think you have to be the strongest person in the room, because you don't have to be. I've been the strongest person, not all the time. I had a few years where my world was rocked, but I've come a long way since then. And you can ask a few people that knew me then, and the few people that know me now, and those same people that know me now would tell you I've come a long way. Are we going to be the cycle breakers? Are you going to be the cycle breaker? Are you going to stop this from happening? Are you going to be the one to stand up and say, no more? Find your strength, find your voice, find your tribe, find your person, whatever that looks like for you, and pray. God wants you to lean on them. I'm not going to harp on that too much, because I know some people don't feel the way I do. And I want this to be all encompassing for anybody that's listening. It's just how I feel. If you feel that way, do the thing. If you have an Allah, do your thing. Get out your prayer rug. If you are just led by spiritualness, do that. Whatever it looks like for you, reach out to that greater being and tell them what you want. Be thankful, be grateful, and tell them what you want. We're the first generation, really, the Gen X generation, to have research, the language, and what a lot of people tell me is the audacity. You have the audacity to get on here and do a podcast and go on TikTok and do lives and have those conversations that I would never be able to do. Well, it's taken me a long time to get here, first off. This has been a thought for many years. I am not the strongest person in the world, by no means. I don't have all the answers. I've not been through everything in the world. That's why I look for other people to come on and have those conversations with me, so people can understand traumas that are outside of what I know. I just want this to be, I don't want anybody I know to feel like I've felt for 52 years. Not on my watch, you're not going to. Not if you're my friend, you're not going to. I am going to try to help you in any way I can to ensure that you don't feel alone. You don't feel like there's no one in the world that understands you. You don't feel like everybody is out to get you. You don't feel like you can't talk to everybody, or anybody rather, because they're not going to understand. They're not going to relate to your pain. Sometimes we feel like our pain, our trauma is isolated and nobody else has been through it. Well, that's wrong, because every day somebody is going through something traumatic. Every day it's some kind of trauma, whether it's trauma in, as another friend that I've picked up on TikTok, where I can relate with her. Her husband went to war. My ex-husband went to war. Well, it's her ex-husband too. And when they come back different people. It changes them fundamentally. And then the government doesn't do anything to help these people to make it through these things. And so then they struggle to have meaningful relationships with the ones that they love, for many reasons. First off, they've usually lost somebody in combat, a friend, a comrade. I'm sorry if you can hear the lawnmower. They've usually lost a friend of some sort that they've made in the military to some kind of tragic accident. That changes people. You get afraid to allow people into your heart because you don't want to go through that pain again. And sometimes it's multiple people that they have to deal with having lost. That's a pain that I can't even imagine. But it changes these soldiers. And they become very cold, very distant, very untouchable in many ways, irrational in how they think. And it's not really their fault. They don't know how to get the help that they need. They don't know how to make it through to have any kind of understanding on how to be a decent human being after that point. And to allow the love back in their life from their family and their spouses. I would say 99.5% of the time, those relationships are going to end up in divorce because the connection is lost. And that's sad. It's just sad. It just hurts my heart. The same kind of thing happens with people who feel abandoned. You're afraid to allow people to come in and to love you because you've spent your entire life being abandoned by people around you. That when somebody wants to come in and truly love you, you can't allow them to do that. You physically push that away, but in a subconscious kind of way. Most people don't realize they're even doing it. They don't realize that they're taking somebody that really wants to be there for them and projecting something in an ill will kind of way on them to find a way to push them away. You're making something be wrong with the person so that you can justify pushing them away because you're too afraid that they're just going to abandon you anyway. Getting past that is one of the toughest things I've ever had to do. Because like I've said 100 times, I have been abandoned in some way or fashion by almost everybody that's been in my life, aside from my children. And that is something that is very difficult to get beyond. And I think it's a deeper subject that I'll go into at some point on here, on abandonment and why we feel abandonment and the different ways that we can feel abandonment and how sometimes you don't even realize that that's what you're feeling. So anyway, yeah, I'll probably go more into that because if I try to go into that right now, we're going to be here for another whole 2 hours and nobody has time for that. So I'm just saying I'm going to be a little dramatic about this when I'm saying not on my watch. Like I'm going to have a loud voice about this, not on my watch. You're not going to go through this anymore. Because I don't want the trauma to be running through your family as much as I don't want it to be running through my family. I try to help my children. Sometimes it coming from mom seems like a little more, like they just don't receive it as well from mom as they would, a counselor, a therapist, or somebody else, or one of their friends or whatever, or somebody on a podcast. I hope my children hear me. I know they hear some things, but I do see my girls struggle with things. I see my boys struggle with different things. They all have felt abandonment in one way or another, be it from something I've done or be it from something their dads have done, be it something that friends at school have done. My daughter losing her close friend to what we think is an overdose. She felt abandonment in that. Like, why would she leave me now? She was just getting her life together. Why now? I've gone into that a little bit on one of the other podcasts. I'm not going to continue to go into that, but I will say that even things like that are abandonment. and you feel it in a certain way. And unless you know how to reconcile that in your mind, it's going to continue to be a problem for you throughout. And you're going to end up with the trauma, the havoc of the hormones, the burnout, all the things, the autoimmune issues, the misfiring of things in your body because you've got this trauma that's sending bad signals because you've turned into yourself and are holding the things in instead of finding that person that you can relate to and relate with. I'm hoping that this podcast is helping people or is going to help people to feel a whole lot better about their lives. And I'm sorry, y'all. It came unplugged. It was about to die. Sorry if you've got a big picture of my head, but anyway. So, I've been through a few things in my life. So have all of you. I'm asking this thing to give me, to open up my other questions that I had on here. I wasn't sure how much time I would have. With the traumas that we go through, whether it's just family, generational trauma that's handed down, and we just don't know how to be decent human beings, or emotional trauma, physical trauma. There are so many different types of traumas that we could really delve into. Again, that would be a whole nother subject, kind of like the abandonment. is just like, I could go into a whole nother podcast for that. Here's the thing about it, though, is the body never forgets. Like, the trauma that you go through, whether it's something physical or emotional or mental, your body never forgets that moment in time. Your body never forgets what it went through in that window that you were going through that. Can you get over it? You can, if your mind wants to. But who's in control of your mind? You are. I am. I'm in control of that. Your body will overthink. You have to be in control of that. If you're still holding on to, say, that family fight from 1994 that split the family up, kind of like it did be. If you're still holding on to that trauma, you're going to carry that stress in your shoulders. You're going to carry that stress in your neck. You're probably going to carry that stress in your stomach. You're going to end up with issues like IBS or gastritis or Crohn's or any of the numerous things that you can have that wreaks havoc on your stomach. You have to find the ability to deal with that fight from 1994 and find a peace with it. Because you can't change that. You can't fix what happened then, nor can you fix how you reacted to it, or how the other person reacted to it, or how mom and dad acted during that time frame, and where everybody ended up afterward. We can't go back to fix that. But what we can do is fix now. We can live in now. So you have to deal with the trauma from then, and you have to learn to find peace with it to be able to move on with your life in peace and have good health. Because if you don't, your stomach is going to be doing flips on Thanksgiving, even in February. I'm just saying, it's going to continue to carry with you through life unless you learn to deal with it. Some way, somehow, you have to learn to deal with whatever the tragedy was, big or small, whether or not somebody would call it a tragedy, traumatic, whatever. Deal with it. You have to learn to deal with it. And it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to say you're not okay. It's okay to say, that bothered me. This is why it bothered me. I need you to know that. Put a voice to it. Learn forgiveness. You don't forgive for them. You're forgiving for you. Because if you don't forgive for you, you're going to end up, like I am, sick most of the time. I'm tired of being sick. I'm tired of feeling like I've been run over by a Mack truck. It's getting better. I'm getting much better. Through these podcasts, I'm also healing. Through the lives on TikTok, I'm also healing. Through the posts that I make in all my other social medias, I'm healing. And that's what I want. I want to heal. I want you to heal. I also want to see me healing in the process. Do strong women lie? Yeah. Because, we are taught that. We don't tell the world we're not okay. So strong women will say, I'm fine. Everything's fine. I've got this. And when nobody's looking, she's standing in that shower, crying her eyes out. She's in the garage before she goes in the house, just breathing before she has to enter that chaos. She's running into the grocery store to grab whatever she needs for dinner that night on her way home from work. And she sits in that parking lot and she listens to one song that makes her feel good. She's finding that peace so she can go home and lie to her family that she's okay when she's not. As women, we've been told since we were old enough to braid hair that a good woman handles everything without complaint. So that translation is what? What does that mean to you? Well, for me, it means we're walking around like pressure cookers in heels. Wondering why our joints ache and our hair is falling out in clumps. I have been through it all. The hair falling out in clumps. It's still thin, but we're getting there. Mary Ruth's is very good. I recommend it highly. I will tag it in here. It's a liquid vitamin that I take, and I love it. It has healed my hair in many ways. So, off of that tangent and back into where we were. But I go through that on a daily basis because of the stress I've been through, because I have been a strong woman all my life. And, I used to take such pride in people saying, you're such a strong woman. I admire the strength that you have and the vigor you have to make it through life. And on the flip side of all of that, of learning what being a strong woman does to the body, I now think that quote unquote badge of honor is really not such a badge of honor. It's more of a death sentence. You're pretty much writing yourself, good Lord, writing yourself a death sentence. It's unhealthy. Men and women, but mainly women, because we're the ones who do it. It's unhealthy. I can't say that because men do it too. Men hold their crud in and they don't put a voice to the pain that they're feeling. They don't know how to. They become emotionally unavailable because that's how they were raised and they were taught to be emotionally unavailable. And then the women in their lives who are strong don't say anything about the connection that's lost because they don't know how to deal with their emotions or yours. Anyway, that's a whole nother subject again. I really could go on for days of subjects I could go on. in this podcast. Have you ever just woke up one day and thought, I'm so tired of stress being a roommate? I'm tired of it being in here with me. I don't want it to lay down in bed with me at night. I don't want it to walk with me through the day. I want to let the stress go. So, that being said, maybe you should start charging rent for the stress that wants to hang out in your body. Why not? Maybe then you can pay yourself back. It'd be kind of like a rainy day jar. Chronic stress isn't just in your head. It lives in your body. It lives in your hormones. It lives in your digestive system. It lives in your immune system. And I know I keep saying this, but every single thing that goes wrong with your body that isn't a typical thing like some kind of hereditary heart disease or cholesterol or something along that line is direct relation to the stress that you have in your life, that you've gained from life experiences, that you've gained from trauma, that you've gained from parental trauma, spouse trauma, childhood friends who hated you, whatever the trauma was for you, a car wreck. I have a friend that it was in a terrible car wreck, amnesia. She's been on here before. She'll be on here again. The stress that she carried from that affects everything about her. She's learning to walk her life with God and rebuild the strength that she has in herself. And it's amazing. I'm loving watching it. She's beautiful inside and out. But I can tell you, honey, it's messy. And I say that again, it's messy when you allow that chronic stress to live in your life rent-free. Start charging that, you know what, some rent. And make her go away. Make it go away. You can't get rid of all stress. I am well aware of this. I have been trying for years to figure out how to just live a stress-free life. Nobody will give me $6 million so I can just do as I please and buy all the things that I want to buy and put my children all up in one piece of land and we all live happily ever after. So since nobody will do that, I have to learn to deal with it all in a whole nother way. Another thing that I've encountered with my spouse over the last probably 6 to 8 months, because we've had a lot of dynamics change in our relationships and struggles of trying to figure one another out now, because I have done such great amounts of growth during our relationship that I have a whole lot of very low BS levels of tolerance, and I'm quick to snap on it. I'm getting better about being nice about it. There are ways to be nice about it. But the guilt trips that he would try to lay on me for certain things, that is not a love language. That is not my love language. I don't know it to be anybody's love language for that matter, but having family remain in your life, even though you know that they're bad, because somebody else in the family is making you feel guilty about keeping that person in your life. Family loyalty is not something you should present people with on a guilt trip, because that's in so many levels of effed up. Just because you can deal with something with the family doesn't mean that that person can. And if that person is telling you, I don't want those people in my life, and this is why I don't want those people in my life, and you blatantly ignore that, and you think that what you got to say and what you feel is more important, yeah, no, you're way off base. And unfortunately for a lot of people who are people pleasers, they're going to allow those people to have that kind of control over them. What I'm trying to say here is don't do that. Don't do that to them, first off. And secondly, don't allow it to happen. If you don't want somebody in your life, you don't have to have them there, no matter what your husband says, no matter what your mother-in-law says, no matter what your father-in-law may have to say, your parents may have to say. It doesn't matter. If you are not comfortable with them, you don't have them in your life. End of story. It's not up for negotiation. Because this is all about you. Not up for negotiation. You have to stop that. Basically, the family loyalty thing too leads into the whole keep your mouth shut. We don't talk about that kind of thing. We're just going to sweep all that family stuff underneath the carpet because we don't talk about the things that Larry, Moe, and Curly do. We don't want the world to know because we have to paint this picture that we're perfect. And so generation after generation, that dysfunction is passed down from one to the next and one to the next and one to the next because you're told that you can't speak your truth in this. Well, speaking your truth in this matter is healthier than swallowing it. I can guarantee you that. I have swallowed that kind of truth for way too long. And I've got acid reflux to show it. Don't allow it. If you don't want them in your life, and you don't want to sweep things under the carpet, and you need that truth to be out there, you don't have to get on social media and post it or anything like that. What I'm saying is you can go to the people that are hurting you or have hurted you. You can have that conversation, or you could choose to not have that conversation and just cut them out of your life. Because depending upon who they are, whether they're narcissist or open to having that conversation, the two different type of people, you may get hurt further if it's a certain type of person. You may be better off just walking away and never looking back once you've healed from it. But you have to heal from it. You truly, deeply have to actually heal from it. Because if you don't actually heal from it, you're just going to keep carrying it with you. I like to call it generational drama equals generational diseases. I actually have put that in my book. And, every time we bite our tongue to avoid conflict, sorry, my mouth is starting to get dry, or play nice or to keep the peace, our bodies are going to send us a bill for that. The acid reflux, the not being able to sleep, the swelling, the puffy face, the irritable stomach, the headaches, all of it. We are physically paying the bill. Our bodies eat that bill every time we allow the keep the peace, play nice kind of crap happen. No. I have the things. All the things. Because of all the times I've ate that bill. Because I didn't have anybody telling me I wasn't supposed to. I didn't have anybody telling me it's okay to not be okay. I didn't have anybody telling me that you don't have to have a relationship with this person because of the way they've treated you. You can choose to not have a relationship with them. You can choose to have a voice. You can choose to get up and walk away from that table and leave them sit at it. Because you don't need to be there. If you don't feel safe, comfortable, loved, cared for, nurtured, accepted at a table, why the hell would you want to sit there? Why? You know how many tables I've sat at like that? My entire flippin' life? Where I really wasn't wanted at that table? Me just walking through life, imposter syndrome, thinking that I am this person or that person, and I really am not. And these people are really just thinking I'm a loser or whatever else they thought and the things that they've said about me. But I've sat at many tables that I wasn't actually welcome at. I was told by one of my high school sweethearts, his brother, that I was a mooch. That that is something I'll never forget. I mean, gosh, that was probably when I was 15, 16, he said that. Here I am almost 53 and I remember it. Special place for people like that. At least I didn't sit there and pick my nose while I was eating like he did. You know, I probably shouldn't say mean things like that. I do apologize. Anyway, that's part of the healing. Sometimes you say things that maybe could have been without having been said. You know, that the emotional debt that we live in, especially as Gen Xers, is incredible sometimes. And to try and heal from that when the interest charges are through the roof is very difficult, to say the least. I would say that trying to break that cycle and learn to heal from those things is one of the hardest things that us as Gen Xers will do, and especially in moving it forward to teach our children not to be that way and how to live a more healed life than we did. It's not just about being healed, though. It's about saving your health, your peace, and really your future. Because you can't decorate generational trauma to make it prettier. It's just not pretty. You've got to throw it out like it's old food in the refrigerator, or a shirt that you've been holding on to since you were 12, hoping that at 50 you'll still fit it. Miraculously, I have a sweatshirt, or I think my youngest son has it now, but that I got when I was 16. And I still fit the sweatshirt. I'm not doing too bad. I've been up and down with my weight through the years, but not doing too bad right now. Irregardless of all the swelling that I have on a constant basis. But anyway, it's not pretty. Generational trauma is not pretty, and you just can't decorate it. So you have to learn to save your health, save yourself, save your future from those things by healing. I think next week I will either go more into this subject on the abandonment issues, or how many traumas there are and how we deal with them and that kind of thing. I'm not sure which direction I'll go. That'll be next week, and or one of the angels will be with me next week. I'm not sure what is to come. But one of us will be on here. I will be on here with somebody at some point. And you'll have me, just what you need, to go through some more things as well. I always appreciate you guys coming in and listening. As always, I appreciate any kind of feedback that you have, questions. If you want to write an email over to say things that you want to talk about, or if there's something that touched you, or if there's something that you think I might be able to help you with, you can go to backporchconfessions@gmail.com. I check those emails a couple times a day. I am live on TikTok. I try to go between 1 and 2 on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The weekends are kind of iffy. I don't really have any set schedule. With being a realtor, you can't really do that. If I do become a substitute teacher, I won't be able to do the 1 or 2 o'clock time frame. I'm also going to be in Alabama in about a month, helping my daughter with the new baby. So the lives will be a little different then too. But anyway, I appreciate you guys being here and listening to me babble. I thank you very much for coming to Back Porch Confessions. I hope anything I said today got to somebody or helped somebody. And I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Come see me on all the social medias. Let me know you're listening. I appreciate your feedback. Thank you guys. That's a wrap on this episode of Back Porch Confessions, where the tea is hot, the stories are real, and we never apologize for keeping it honest. Produced and edited by the magic makers over at Zay Media. Until next time, keep your porch talk spicy and your secrets safe. Mostly.